Okay, welcome back everybody. In this video tutorial, we will be looking at the shell command. And this is from activity 2.1.5. And what's been provided for us is this lunch tray. And what they're wanting us to do is to take this lunch tray that's already been previously constructed. Looks like they've used an overall solid extrusion, as well as they've developed their profiles to create the pockets that are part of the lunch tray, and they've extruded those down to cut those, and then they've applied a fillet across all these different profiles. What we're going to be looking at today is how we can take something like this, like a lunch tray, and on the back side of it, a lunch tray obviously is not a complete solid. There's actually it's a negative of what we're seeing on the front side. So that means we're actually going to be going out there and using the shell command so we can take lunch trays and stack them on top of each other. All right, so let's go ahead, let's take a look at the packet that PLTW has provided for us. And here we go. And basically what they're going to be saying is, go out here using this lunch tray, flip it over, use our shell command, select the face that we'd like to remove, and then apply a wall thickness of 0.3125. Now, already doing this, I can see that the 0.3125 is obviously a typo. So for this exercise, you're actually going to apply a wall thickness of 0.125. All right, let's jump back over to our IPT, and we will flip the lunch tray over, and we're going to be coming up here and finding our shell command. And we got some different options here. What you're seeing here is says inside, outside, okay, as well as both. And what it's basically asking us is how we would like to apply, the shell and what we want the thickness to do. Do we want it to be inside of the current profile? Do we want it to be on the outside of the current profile? Or do we want to take that thickness that we're going to apply and extrude that evenly? Okay, from this is our mid plane, I guess is the way to look at it, to create that shelled feature. All right, so in this case, we're going to be using a thickness of 0.125, and we're going to be coming up here to the arrow and basically going out there and telling it what face we'd like to remove. So this is the face that we currently have all those pockets drawn on, so we're going to be flipping it over and applying that to this face. Okay, and once we have that, we can now go ahead and say okay, and we can see that lunch tray now has a negative side to where it currently was. Okay, we've taken that extrusion or that shell, and we've provided the information for the distance, and this time we went to the inside of the current geometry and the current features that we have in order to get that lunch tray. So once again, make sure that you're using a shell thickness of 0.125, not 0.3125 that's been provided for us in that packet. Now you're seeing a very simple example of this. I want to show you how it can be applied to a very complex example. In this case, what I'd like to do is take this model that I've created, and this is supposed to represent like maybe a type of hose or type of a tubing that we need to use, and all I did was simply use a spline as a sketch. I placed a work plane at the end of that spline and created my circle to extrude along that path through the use of sweep. And right now it looks like we have a hose that has a diameter of 1, and we want that to actually be a hose, so we have to go and hollow all this out and apply a thickness. In this case, we're going to say that thickness is a 1/16 of an inch, so 0.0625. So we're going to once go ahead and go into shell, and we're going to say remove face here, as well as we want it to be hollow all the way through, so we have to come over and select this face as well. Okay, those are the only two faces we're going to be removing. In this case, we're going to say 0.0625 is going to be our thickness, once again going to the inside. We say okay on that. This could take a couple seconds depending on what the model it is that you're working on, but we can see how that has hollowed that out and shelled it out. Okay, even though it's a very complex piece of geometry when compared to that lunch tray. All right, very, very helpful feature to have. You can have a lot of fun with it, but it can really come through and help you out, especially when you're making things like tubing or hoses. So there you go. That's the shell feature found within Autodesk Inventor, and that's how you apply that to Activity 2.1.5 CAD model features for your lunch tray using the shell command.